Hey everyone, welcome back to another Wednesday live stream. Oh my, we have got a good live stream for you tonight. I just have a feeling. I have no idea what it is, but I know that it's going to be great. Hey, I hope that you are having a great week so far. We just keep showing up and it seems to work, so let's just keep doing it. If you haven't joined us yet in the chat here on Zoom, it's still possible. You can just click on the link there in the Facebook group, and it'll send you to our waiting room where you will be scrutinized and vetted to see if we want to let you in here. And Rob's in control of that now, so he's kind of tough. It's kind of he runs a tight ship, so I don't know. You may or you may not get in, but it's always good to show up a little bit early, right, Christina? I mean, being prompt is a great quality to have. You want to be successful in this business or just in life generally, get there a couple of minutes early, right? And then, man, you'll be first in line for all the good stuff when it comes. Anyway, so what's going on, Christina? Is there anything that we need to talk about? Is there anything really new or?
Yeah, so thanks, Chris. And we had a really nice meeting yesterday with a potential partner. I'm not going to disclose any names, so we have some really cool opportunities available to us as the cooperative. And I'm also meeting with Katie Devlin from the NGA on Friday morning. That's new as of about 2 hours ago, so I haven't let the steering committee know. Breaking news, but meeting with Katie Devlin from the NGA on Friday morning to talk about launching at Glass Build formally. We have the potential partnership meeting Tuesday, so things are cooking. We're moving quickly, and we've got our logo solidified, paid for, copyrighted, I believe, and Rob's working on the website. Lana helped vet her own company and herself as the vetting process to ensure that give us feedback on the form and ensure that the questions we're asking are comprehensive and fair, but not overwhelming, and make it make sense. So I think, gosh, we have a lot of irons in the fire. We have a lot of things going on, and there's just so many things we're excited to tell everyone about. So thanks for hanging on while we're being so secretive, but it's coming soon. So
Nice. Yeah, Lana's volunteered to be kind of our guinea pig. So it's pretty nice of her to do that. Throw herself into the works there. And cool, got some serious like dates coming up with like Glass Build and official launching and announcements and stuff. That sounds pretty official. It seems like we're kind of committed now, huh, Christina?
yep, I am super scared. I don't know what I'm doing all the time,
I'm
but we have
terrified.
each other. Yep,
That's right.
it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, we're in it
Um,
together, right? Win or
yeah.
lose, we're a team.
I think I'm naive enough to pull it off. But once
Exactly.
all is said is done, I don't know that I would say I'd do it again.
Yeah,
It'll be fine.
yeah, that's cool. Well, thanks for all that you do, and yeah, we were just kind of started chat a little bit as we tend to do before we went live, and actually, Adrian was talking a little bit. I don't know if you want to talk about that kind of just as a group about the system you've been using for your invoicing and tracking customers, and you were talking about just keeping track of how your formulas for pricing and all that stuff, and now you need to make a change. Am I getting it right?
So right now we're using Main Street for our everyday invoicing and stuff like that and our pricing. But as of lately they've been kind of dropping the ball. I think they changed hands and they are no longer like a family business anymore. are, they're kind of like more corporate, and so it's, the software is not like the same. We get a lot of crashing, a lot of, blanks and stuff like that, and so it's getting kind of irritating. So we're just looking for different, venues, see if there's anybody what other people are using. I've been looking at, Smart Laser, or Smart Toolbox, whatever it's called, and but it doesn't seem like they offer what we need, because we're not just a shower door company. We do it all. So from broken windows to IG units to commercial new windows, we do it all.
Mhm.
So if it's glass, we fix it, regardless what it is. Yeah. So I just wondering to see what everybody else uses at the moment. So maybe we could, try whatever you guys are using. But it's a hard transition because we have so much into Main Street. It's a lot. We do a lot through it. So it's a very versatile tool to use, but it's gonna be hard trying to match what they do, but I like to see.
Mhm. Anybody else here using that Main Street? Mike, you're on mute.
Mike reminds me of Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've used it for the last 3 years, and I don't want to say it's the greatest thing in the world, but it certainly has helped us out tremendously. There are some bugs, but as I understand it, Adrian, they've developed an online version.
Yeah, that's
They're
what we use.
trying to work the kinks out of that, but
It's been a long
I'm using
time
an
to
older
work out
version.
kinks. Yeah. It's been a long time it's been a long, we had that online, that's what we use, the web-based version, but it's been a long time since they've been out, and it's still like not as good as the software.
Yeah.
So
Adrian, I'll say there are ways to work around in Smart Toolbox, ways to work around not having the storefronts online or not having any kind of Windows software. They allow you to add jobs, and you can add components to those jobs, which could be glass or various hardware components. You do have to do that by hand, but you can also create kind of a library of things you might do more frequently. So we do mirrors, and we do mirrors that way in the software.
yeah, I've seen
And
that.
I just have kind of a mirror library in there. So if that's something you'd ever want to see if it works for you, just let me know. I'm happy to hop
Yeah.
on a Zoom or screen share.
Yeah, I got actually a Zoom meeting with a guy named, what's his name? I don't remember. One of the guys, a sales rep. I forgot his name. His name is Sam Franklin. I don't know if you heard of
Oh,
him.
he's awesome.
Yeah,
He's the
so
best.
we're gonna have a little meeting with him and talk about it, and he's gonna show us a demo. But it's gonna be real hard to convince. The one person you got to convince is everybody in this office. And I've really used it. I just use showers online. I've really used the Main Street, except to collect a bill or something. That's what we use for that. So as far as overall, I really don't mess with it. I just mess with showers online, and that's about it. So, but like I said, I'm not. We don't only do shower doors. So I can't just think, oh, I just need it for shower doors. Nah, I need it for a vast of things. Screens. We still make our own screens in house. That's old school. So we still do that. So I mean, we broken windows, single glaze, single strength, double strength. We still do all that still. So it's we got cases of glass in the back of 1/4 inch. So someone comes in or calls up, hey man, my storefront is broken, and we got the glass to do it right away.
Got like buckets of putty and stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, you guys are old school. You're kind of like it's
Yeah.
kind of a dying art, right?
Yeah, what we got though. We got the chisel now, so it makes it a lot easier. We're not beating with a hammer and a freaking putty knife anymore. So we got an electric chisel. Makes it easier.
Yeah, nice.
You got to make sure you don't break the other glasses on next to each other.
Right.
Yeah,
Try
we're
not
so
to
old
break
school,
too
man.
much stuff, right?
No, we're so old school. That's what I grew up in. I grew up in that doing all that first, so I'm pretty well known to do all that. My first job was actually a church that had a bunch of 12 or 24 by 12-inch bunch of little panes of putty hack out, on an extension ladder. That was like one of my first jobs, man. That just sucked. Oh, but hey, I learned how to putty. I got pretty quick with it.
Yeah, start with the ones that are real high that you can't see.
Yeah, they can't see them up there.
Exactly. By the time I got to the last 3 of them, I was already a professional.
Oh, through that.
Well, and something that's really cool about this group is I was curious about follow-up and how it would really work in our business. So I sent our office manager and receptionist up to Billy Britt at Britt and Tilson, and I had her there for a couple of days to kind of learn it and give me her real and honest feedback. And if you ever wanted to send somebody to us, or heck, maybe I'll come out there and learn how to putty.
I don't do it too much. I'm kind of rusty now, so I don't know. But no, I think once you get it, I mean, it's just, I think it's just part of it. Yeah, you can do that.
Everybody should know how to do a putty hack on it, right?
You're not a real glazer. You're not a real glazer until you putty a window. If you haven't done it, then sorry, you are out of the club.
It's what glazing actually means, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. Yeah, it's real fun when you do 600 steel sash windows.
Steel sash windows. Yeah.
Yep.
Heck yeah, we still do those too.
With the 1.5-inch putty knife.
Yep, got one of them. I still got that. Yep.
And now they don't make the 1012A anymore, so you're stuck with a white.
Really?
They don't make the gray putty anymore.
Oh wow, that's funny.
FHC has it.
Yeah.
I bought some.
Ooh,
They have it.
Where? DAP?
Yeah.
FHC?
Oh, not DAP. It's FHC. It's FHC's brand, but it's just it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. They have the gray.
Yeah, DAP.
They have. It's really soft. I love it too because it's soft and it's easy to, to work it. Oh yeah.
Hilarious. You never know what we're going to start talking about here, man. It's crazy. Talking about putty. I love it.
Some of these guys are like, what? Putty, what?
Right? What's putty?
I've done my share of it.
It's
We're taking the linseed oil and coloring it red and doing redwood windows with it.
crazy.
We use the smart build too as well. I think obviously shower doors, it's very strong. Customers entry and quote tracking and all that type of thing, very, very strong. I think where it's weak is obviously storefront. But as far as like insulated mirrors, 1/4-inch double strength, that's all in there. Customization of it's very simple, very good, very solid on pricing. So, but you're not going to have, you're not going to have your storefront construction software. I forgot. I used to have a software that did that, but until we decided to get out of the nonprofit business of storefront.
Whatever.
And
good money.
Had to slip that in there. But anyway, no, I think it's a pretty solid product. I think Sam will be able to, I have complaints about it, but it's been pretty helpful to our business.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's a nice thing to hear. Okay. Yeah.
And I would throw your scenarios at him, throw every scenario you're concerned about at him before the meeting.
And will they customize the program for you if you need something changed?
Yeah, they did a lot of stuff. They did a lot of entry stuff for us on the front end. We were worried about a lot of things that just never really materialized. We were worried about importing all our customers. We were worried about how it was going to do this and do that and do this and do that. And once you get you just got to commit to it, and then you'll be fine. I think you'll be happy with the change.
Got it. All right. Yeah, I got a meeting set up with them, so hopefully we can work out something.
Yeah, I'd say if there's there's a couple weaknesses with the program. Obviously, they're limited to CRL's shower design software, so the same problems, no portals, no, none of the third-party stuff. If you modify hinge openings or stuff like that, it's always a pain. Nothing wider than 78 on the barn door sliders, all the things that you run into, the CRL limitations. And then their reporting is absolutely junk. The data's all in there, but the reports are just so hard to get out of the software. But otherwise. And we use it. I mean, we obviously export all the data to our shop floor and our cutting tables and our water jets. So it's incredibly important for us from a production standpoint to actually go from screen to machine successfully. So
that is
Yeah,
a
I see
cool
that.
feature.
Yeah, I see that on the website. Yeah, that was pretty cool. I seen that. So yeah.
and it does it.
The biggest downfall is not the quality of their customer service, because they are great quality customer service, but the time zone is the real headache there. And I'm really hoping that they do something about that.
So they're from
That's
like
my
New
only
Zealand.
grief.
They're like from like New Zealand or something, right?
Right. And of course,
Yep, and they have an office in the UK.
right. And so the
Got it.
system invariably, Christina will tell you, the system goes down exactly on Friday at 6 p.m. New Zealand time.
Yep.
What's down for what?
Well, I
For
think
what?
That's when you
What
have
is
it doesn't go
problems or
down,
something.
but it
Yeah.
gets so slow or something. And I think
Oh.
what happens, Greg, is they have like a weekly or bi-weekly release schedule where they'll release like little bits and little things and little changes. And I'm sure that that's on like a Wednesday evening or a Thursday, and our time or their time, maybe it's a Friday, but for us, it hits us on Friday, and then, you know, they're off for the weekend, and we're just like SOL on Fridays. And it's not every
Cool.
Friday, by the way. It's just, it seems to always be Friday when it happens.
Just Friday, but it's okay on Saturday. Because sometimes I come in the office and I work on a Saturday.
Well, it's
So
rare. It's just that when it
Oh,
does
yeah.
happen, you really know it, and you know the time zone. So if it's Friday morning where you are, they're already Friday night. So
oh,
and
that's not gonna
they
work.
have tech support over weekends, but it's not as quick, you know.
Yeah, they're not. That's not gonna work here. That will not fly at all. Damn. Okay.
Not
Okay.
Well, it
acceptable.
doesn't go full. It's only gone fully offline one time, and I actually found Sam Franklin on Facebook and then harassed him on Facebook on a Friday night. I felt really bad about it, but it was fully down. It was fully inoperably down, and we could not do business. And so they were able to get it back up relatively quick. But yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
that's my beef.
yeah, if Main Street's giving you trouble, I would certainly look at Smart Build. And if somebody else is Smart Glacier, Smart Build, Smart Toolbox, whatever it is, and see what you think.
Do you guys know any other software programs or any programs identical to like Main Street or Smart Glazer? Is there any more? I mean, we went to the glass show or the glass build, and I didn't pay attention too much to them because I already had Main Street. But yeah, is there anybody else besides those two?
We've got Rob Gomez here. I'll bet he's just like got 1,000 things running through his head.
In this round that someone hasn't mentioned, I've been talking to Glazer Software a lot. I can give you a demo of their stuff. I'll put their link in the chat. They seem to have started on a very window management, super cool CRM estimate kind of basis, allowing you to do a lot of the steps you're looking for as a window company. But then they've also started, I don't know how far they are, how much is released of the shower and the commercial other aspects to feed the other parts of the department. But send you the link I have, but I can give you a demo of what I know so far. Set up one with one of their Emily or someone else that is available. Bam, glazersoftware.com. I don't know who's used it, who they're all the back end of who they're related to in the industry as far as relationships go. I've just been talking to the nerd side of things as usual. Those are usually where my questions go on what can it do, what can we do together, how can it feed into everyone's process, and who does this best serve, so I can make sure I can let them know that it's available to them when they ask. But have a meeting scheduled, not yet, but I'm scheduling a meeting with one of the users to see what their feedback is, so I can give real honest feedback to you, Adrian. I can do that. I can reach out to you after I talk to them and get real use case on all the scenarios. Throw with me any huge issues you have, like huge, like this is a no-go, and I'll throw it out there to see if where they're at with it as far as the software you're using, what's non-negotiables you need, and the kind of management software you need, and I can see where they're at with it for you.
All right, bud, that sounds good.
Yeah, I love to do
I already have follow-up, so hopefully it'll be
yeah, exactly. You know, I'm always looking at blend follow up as the sales and marketing front arm. How can we run it with everyone else?
Yeah. Yeah, but I let you know that, man, everybody's jumping on board with follow up is making it a lot easier in this office now, man. No more headaches.
Everyone should use a tool like it. So as long as someone using a tool like it, that is your sales and marketing front arm, integrate everything and make it all in one place. And then where you connect it to in your next steps is all that matters. But as long as you have something in the front end that's tracking, reaching out, handling your reporting, recording things for you, and one place where all of your people can talk, like, then you got it. And everything else is just how can you blend the pieces and eliminate double data entry for all of your staff, no matter what you use. That should always be a goal. If someone's typing something in one place and having to type it in another, that's valuable time you can get back. You just figure out where to bring in technology. Type once, fill in once, never again. Always Michael.
I have a question kind of referring to all this stuff. And if somebody can answer this kind of on an average basis, how much is everybody spending, would you say, a monthly basis on all this technology and stuff? Because the only thing we use right now is QuickBooks and the showers online when we're drawing up our shower doors on the CAD programs to send over to either Oldcastle or Floral. Those are the only two things that we really use. But I was just curious, how much is everybody essentially spending a month on technology to help run their companies? And what would you say is a good budget at certain levels of your company's life, you know?
Are you just talking smart and like the glass side of things? Forget the QuickBooks side for the sake of discussion. A lot of this other stuff is, and I'm not going to address follow up because I don't have it. But from the smart build side, it's a certain dollar amount plus the shower integration to it. I think, and we have a lot of seats. I think we have 11 or 12 seats. So I think we're about $1,000 a month, somewhere around there. We're about 12 grand a year. So.
Yeah, I was thinking like that, and then I'm also thinking of like the nice job stuff, people who are like using the stuff for reviews and just any kind of little technology assisted program that's helping you run your business in some way. Like what, like, you know, how much are you guys spending monthly on stuff like that, you know, to help run the company essentially?
You mean apart from like advertising, just like apps that like help you manage customers, CRM, or
Yeah.
keeping up with that, or just managing
Yeah,
business?
just managing the whole process and stuff like that. Yeah. So, and even if it's like part of daily operations, things that are just helping you operate on a daily basis, like, I know, you know, we use QuickBooks, so that's kind of our main thing. But other than that, we don't really use anything. So I was just curious how much people should be spending on stuff like that.
Well, let me ask you something since you brought that up, and the way that you framed the question is that, are you finding that you're able to do a lot of the stuff that people are talking about just in QuickBooks without going to some other app?
I
Or
mean,
are you finding it's coming up short?
I mean, we're definitely coming up. I know we're coming up short in many areas. But as far as like the operations, we're using QuickBooks for everything. As far as invoicing, we just use an Excel spreadsheet for pricing on when we're doing our shower doors. We have all of our bits and pieces loaded into an Excel spreadsheet, you know, from drill bits to seals and silicone and everything like that. It's all itemized out on a spreadsheet. But QuickBooks is just running our invoicing and our customer base and stuff like that. But you know, I kind of just do it on my own. Anything to do with marketing and anything to do with like sending out for reviews and stuff like that, just in my spare time. So, but QuickBooks basically runs all of our basic stuff, you know.
Well,
and then like
what problem are you trying to solve? I'm not trying to be harsh, but if you,
no, I'm just trying to like an efficiency and just making sure that we're being as efficient as possible and what technology has made you guys more efficient, and then how much people should be spending on something like that, you know, to
well, in
be
our
more
case,
efficient.
we were using a e-showers on, I think it was e-showers at the time, and we had FileMaker Pro, which is a Claris product for customer database. So we're doing a lot of double entry, exactly what Robert was saying. There was no integration of stuff, so we would go from e-showers to FileMaker to QuickBooks. We had triple entry of data. And so this was just a total waste of manpower. And then we started with Smart Build and Smart Glass and Glacier. And now from start to finish, and then we push to QuickBooks at the very end, we save a tremendous amount of time. But, you know, if you're running smoothly with Excel and QuickBooks, then I'm not sure I'd run to go change anything at this point. I guess the question is find your bottlenecks and fix them.
Yeah.
Because I mean, here's the thing that I was kind of alluding to is that QuickBooks actually is a super powerful program. And like most of us that use it, we're using like 5% of its capability. You know, we'll get in there, like put in our entries in the checkbook, maybe balance checkbook, do invoicing, do estimating, whatever. But I mean, you can use it as a CRM, basically. I mean, you could do all of your all of your communications through it, because you can email out of it and everything. Now I don't think you can text message out of it, but I don't know, there may be ways to integrate other apps into it. If a person really took the time to learn how to use QuickBooks and could just squeeze every drop of juice out of that program, I think you'd be shocked at what you could do without, because you're already paying for that program.
Yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do right now, is try to figure out and utilize QuickBooks as much as I possibly can, since we're paying for it, and make it do everything that it should be doing and is capable of before I start sourcing other things.
I mean, it's never going to draw a shower, you know that. So I mean, it's like, so
like it.
Daniel, what do you spend a month on advertising?
Zero. It's all word of mouth.
When you invest in any one of these systems and you know what, QuickBooks might do it too, now that Chris says that. We haven't used it forever, but most people just use it like what he said, balancing the checkbook, invoicing. But when you start using software that can, I think I talked about this before, kind of data mine all your invoices that go in, you can actually get more targeted on your marketing to get better ROI, on your new customer acquisitions. And so there's really a strong benefit of having some type of technology to manage all this data, and then hopefully, kind of start help predicting the future for you to get more targeted on your marketing.
Yeah. Right now we do zero marketing. Honestly, it's just whatever I do on my own, just via social media and stuff like that in my spare time. But other than that, it's just all repeat builder business, and then just word of mouth, and I guess being in business for 20 years. So that's really how all of our stuff is done. We don't have any sales reps. It's me and my dad, and we have one sales rep, but he had a stroke, so he's not doing sales really anymore. So, but we don't really do sales much. So we're missing out on a lot of sales, essentially.
How many trucks are you running?
We run, not including mine, we run 4. So, and then I'll stick a rack. My truck's got a rack in it right now because I had to go I actually did the 5/16 Cambridge door that I heard about on here today. So I got to do that, and it worked out great, So, but yeah, like when people call out, or if somebody didn't show up or somebody's sick, usually I'll stick the rack in my truck and go fill in if I have to, or if we can't push the work. So, but we're running 4 trucks, and then me and my dad have our trucks, and we'll do what we have to. We're running the business too much and trying to find people to take our places, and I keep trying to push him aside, and then I need somebody to kind of keep taking the stuff that I keep taking from him.
You got 4 full-time trucks doing installs?
Yeah. Okay. Sometimes they're not all completely full-time, but I mean, we got 4 trucks and we got 4 lead guys. So if we wanted to split them up, we could every day. Some days 2 of the guys are riding together, and they're doing 4 or 5 shower doors in a new construction house. So we'll just put them together, instead of running them separate.
Do you know, 3 to 4 million a year, 4 to 5 million a year?
2
million a year. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, and we don't sell anything. We just answer the phone. So it's like, I'm trying to figure out all these efficiencies and stuff like that to make the most of what we have, and then figure out how to grow, because we're missing out on so much right now.
Yeah, I would be, if you're doing that much volume, you need software. Sure.
Yeah.
You know, there's software for everything too, depends, you know, so it's such a hard question to answer for you because you're looking for guidance and, you know, like Greg and Keith are asking you, how big are you? What are you trying to do? I mean, we've got software for scheduling to try and get our appointments logistically set up and accurate. Same thing for installations and service calls. So we've got software for logistics. We've got software for scheduling for sales and times that are integrated with a matrix that we made up. There's an awful lot of technology behind it. So I mean, I can't even fathom to try and put a money on it. And then to take, you know, my business or Greg's business, and then you go to Chris, you have a wide variety of guys on this platform, and everybody's scaled differently. So it's hard to just put a generalized number on how much do you spend on technology. I mean, I'd probably blow you away if I told you what we were spending on technology.
Yeah, I know you're
crazy.
definitely a different level, you know, so that, I
Yeah,
mean, it
but
would
we've
be,
spent it all the way up. You know, I
yeah,
remember distinctly when we were at your size and then the next size and the next size. And every time we had to reinvest into different programs that would fit our service bill. I mean, we ran Outlook until we blew it up and it didn't work anymore. We overloaded it. And it forced us to get into a better scheduling and calendar setup. But Outlook
Yeah,
works
you
great when we
need,
were small.
Daniel, you need to hit the road. Go see Billy Britt, who's just a little bigger than you. You can always visit Bill and learn something. And certainly you're welcome to come up to our shop and see what we do. We're bigger, but we're not that much bigger. You know, we run five full-time trucks. So I would certainly tap into that. You got people here that are within you're outside Atlanta.
yeah, we're north, we're near Brad. We're up north, about 45 minutes north of
Brad,
Atlanta.
we're in Knoxville. Billy's in Asheville. Florida's always a quick flight. So that's what I would do. Go visit
Yeah,
some
I
people
think
that
this
use software. Yeah.
scheduling would be our biggest, if we could figure out our scheduling, that would answer so many of the phone calls, you know,
Yeah.
and that's probably our biggest,
your dollars per truck seem a little low, and I'm not trying to be harsh, but they seem a little low. And I think software. So when I say you need software, I think that's where you're going to pick up that thing. It's not, you're going to work your guys. It's not about working your guys harder. It's better scheduling, exactly what Bill was talking about.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if this is the good number for them, but I mean, I was thinking that each truck should be at least making $2,500 a day, you know, and you know, if they're riding together, they should be, you know, making 5 at least. So, but it's just taking rough numbers on it.
Yeah, it depends on what your metric of making. I mean, as far as, you know, we do a volume of sales because we take care of the margins on our end, but each truck is doing over right now, each truck is doing about 1.5 million, maybe 1.25 million, maybe,
yeah,
if I don't count overtime. So when you say you have 4 trucks, I assumed you're doing 4 million. So
yeah, no, it'd be nice, and I think the efficiencies are there, you know, and the sales are there. It's just a matter of getting it all lined up and using any technology possible to get it there. So I think, you know, scheduling technology would be nice.
yeah, I'm
You
surprised
want to
the
look
volume
at
you're
the
doing with
pricing
QuickBooks
too.
and
You might be
Excel.
pricing, your pricing might be too low. I know that's a tough one for most people, but that's the biggest thing I've learned in being part of this group the last couple of years. People I've talked, they're set with their certain builders, like you said, and God forbid I raise their price because then I might lose the builder. We're not bringing in any new customers. And, you know, before you know it, 2 years goes by, 3 years comes like if the margin's not right, you don't have the capital to reinvest in all this technology everybody's speaking of. But when you do that, this whole thing starts moving so much faster. So I'd look at your pricing too.
Yeah, I have a guy in my office who kind of reviews the pricing essentially each week. He's breaking down something, you know, he's breaking down some invoices with a shower that we've done. He's breaking down like a lock job if we've done, you know, a whole house of locks. You know, he's breaking down each job. That's one of the things that we're working on, is making sure we're staying on top of our pricing. So because all of our vendors are doing essentially quarter reviews on their pricing, so we have to be doing that too. So you know, but I think pricing increases, you know, not off the board by any means, you know, and we've gotten pretty trying to tighten up with what kind of work we'll accept and what work we won't, so we're not wasting our time on nonprofit stuff, as you said earlier.
And there's all, I love the dollars per employee metric, and take everybody in your operation and divide it by, take your total volume divided by the people in the operation. And, you should see a number somewhere in the, the low side would be 200,000 per employee. If I see 250,000 per employees, a good number. So so you may have the dollars per margin per shower done right, but if you're not putting in enough product, that makes all the difference in the world. Putting in 4 showers instead of 3, putting in 3 showers instead of 2. At the end of the year, you'll be shocked at how much money you made versus the other when you do it the other way.
Yeah, of course, because your fixed costs stay the same.
Correct.
So, right? So
Exactly right.
you hit a certain point and then it just explodes for you.
Correct.
Once you cover all your fixed costs and your hard costs.
The dollars per employee thing, I've been running that thing for 2 years. And
I love that. I love it.
Yeah.
It's right on too. I just did it. It's a great, it's perfect.
Yeah.
It just means that about this,
those numbers, that means that you are inefficient. You are either making too many mistakes, going back to jobs, poorly scheduling them, your crews are too slow. It's all your fault regardless. But
yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And that's the main reason I'm in this group, is to learn from a lot of these guys and figure out how they're solving these inefficiencies and stuff, because that's one of the things that drives me nuts, is we could be so great, but I see so many inefficiencies that we've got to address. And, because we've just been average for 20 years.
Yeah, well, you could come through my shop and find a lot of things that you could fix or improve, but there's a lot of things that we do very well. You have an open invitation to come up and see us in Knoxville. I would love to have you.
And
You
it's
should do
worth
that.
it. I've been there. It's worth the trip. It's very
I want to
nice.
go.
It's very nice.
Definitely.
Gonna make a field trip or what, guys? We're gonna make a field trip?
Field trip.
I'm in.
If you guys are going to Atlanta, if you're going to Atlanta, Knoxville's a good drop off. Stop in there.
Yep.
We go to Wisconsin a lot, so maybe on the way up to Wisconsin one of these days. So
sooner than later, you're more than welcome. Billy's been through the operation. Bill's been there.
Who is Billy Britt? I heard his name mentioned twice already today.
He runs an operation that's a great operation. It's probably I don't want to speak for him, but between your size and my size.
Yeah.
And very focused guy. Not usually on here, but just a terrific guy. Very down to earth. Very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, very cool guy.
And they have great hats.
Yeah. And again, the same struggles that Keith and Bill. It's a little bit frustrating, I think, for smaller operations, because I see how far Keith and Bill have taken their operation. And I know I've spoken privately to a bunch of people, and they're like, well, I'd love to take more advice, but I just don't have the resources Keith and Bill do. And they're in a whole nother universe. And it's hard for them to relate to a company that large and that successful and make it and go from where they are to where Keith and Bill have gone. And they will tell you it's a long road to get there. But they're worth the trip because they have so much information to share. But you've got all these people in between, 6 million, 4 million, 2 million. And if go to the next size up and visit.
Bill and Keith, what would I'm sure you remember it essentially like it was yesterday, at your different, if you can kind of dissect the different increments of your business, what are some of the biggest leaps you guys have made at certain points, that have gotten you to the next level? Like, was it certain technologies that you decided to switch over to? Was it, what were some of the things that got you from one level to the next, to where most all of us are trying to go, if you're trying to grow?
You want to start, Keith?
I got one quick one and then I'll let you go.
Yeah.
The quickest one for me that I learned the hard way, it took, just because of where we started and how we started, it was ingrained in me to make sure I had my thumb on every single thing in the business. And until I was able to kind of get over that and really start delegating more, was when I personally was able to add a lot more to the business. And so it was identifying what I was really good at and what I really sucked at. And when I sucked at it, what ended up happening was I'd put it off and put it off, and that caused different problems. So being able to trust other individuals to delegate some of my stuff was probably the, like, other than getting on social media, was probably the biggest hurdle I had professionally through my, tenure down here, for sure. Delegating.
Every entrepreneur goes through that, right? You've built this thing and it's your baby, and it's very hard to delegate and trust somebody. And you figure as you grow, that quality is going to fall behind because you can't be on every single job. You've got to train. Training, we really felt that putting the money into people before technology. Technology helps manage the people, but you've got to train people. You can't just hire guys and throw them on a truck. We did that. It made big mistakes. And every new employee costs us money, not only in finding them, but paying for mistakes and go backs and things because we didn't train them right. And like Greg said, it's on us. You have to look at yourself. You're the owner. You can't point fingers and say, oh, that guy's no good. No, we're not good for not training them right. You can't expect them to know it. So I would say the biggest hurdle was investing the money in training. That's why we built the training center in our shop. And every new hire goes through training before. We don't want them learning at the customer's house. We want them learning in the shop. I learned that from going to the grocery store. I hated it when I got a register person that was just learning on the register and the line just backs up. It's very frustrating. It's like, why can't you teach them somewhere else, then put them on the floor when they're ready? And I see that with glass shops throughout the country. They're hiring new guys and throwing them right in the field without proper training. And that can hurt your bottom line, especially if they get hurt and they're not handling the glass right, or they're damaging a customer's house because the glass broke. So I
Or
would
they
say,
don't have any soft skills too. I mean, you'd be surprised how many people are just socially awkward, and now you're sending them into a house, and you're trying to raise your prices. So there's a certain expectation of customer service, no different than going to a Ruth Chris and teaching all those skills.
Yeah.
And
The money's definitely got to be in employees first, employees and training. Then you use your software to manage that.
And I would, my add to this, and I'm nowhere at the level those guys are, but I would say until you know your numbers, you're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's really surprising to me how few people, they understand, okay, well, the handle was $15 and the hinges were $40 each and the glass was this, so that's what I made. Well, that was what you charged, and those were the materials cost on that job. What are they over a month? What are they over a year? And again, back to the dollars per employee. So until you know your numbers, you're going to have a business that will succeed to a certain level, and that will be it.
Yeah.
And please don't take this overly critical, but you're at the 20-year mark, if I heard you right. And at 20 years, you should have been able to grow bigger. If your intent was to grow. Now,
right.
Please don't take it wrong.
Right. Yeah.
There are people that don't want to grow bigger, and that's okay. It depends what you want to do. But if your intent is to grow it long, and it sounds like you're looking for tools to help you grow faster, that may not be it. But over 20 years, you know the business. You know what it's at. Now you got to invest in people, train people, get people you trust, and go from there. Worry about the software to manage them later. But the other key is it's all about money. So if you don't know your numbers, you can invest in people, but be losing money. You got to make sure you're priced right. Keith was spot on. We looked at pricing so many times. And, during COVID, when the glass prices shot up and then aluminum extrusion shot up, a lot of guys didn't change their pricing. They got hurt bad, really bad. And you've got to be on top of those numbers.
Yeah, no, my dad has never wanted to be big before. He was very content with where he was. He didn't like all the headaches and stuff like that. So he was very content, which I had to accept for a while. And,
Sure.
you know, I kind of slowly pressured him into more and more and more. And, you know, he's ready to be done. So that's, you know, I've been trying to do a bunch of back end work on my own here and, you know, learn all this stuff and then put my thumb on the business, as Keith was saying, and get everything in check so that essentially I can buy him out and make him retire properly. And then I can do what I want to do. But yeah, so yes, it's been 20 years. So we got a heck of a base, and a lot of knowledge and people have been with us for a while. So we got a good core, but it's just, you know, now it's time to fine tune everything and use any advantage that I can to grow as efficiently, organically. I want to, you know, organically and efficiently, something that can be sustained. So it's got to be sustainable. I want it to be organic. I don't want it to be capital funded. You know, it's got something like that, something that'll last and be worth it. So yes, we've been around for 20 years, but nobody's really wanted to grow ever. Honestly, it's just more of a job, you know, to get out of another one a long time ago. So,
How old are you now?
35.
Oh, God, you're young.
He's
Okay.
a pup.
Because I'm going to be honest, we didn't even start our business till I was 36. So you're young and you've already got a wealth of knowledge ahead of you that I didn't have when I started. And the other thing is there's so many resources out there, local resources that are free. And we've talked about this before. There's these organizations called the SBDC, Small Business Development Centers. They'll give you free counseling. You know, you're a taxpayer, I assume, and your tax money's paying for that. Use it to your advantage. Besides this group too.
Yeah, there are many you know, you've seen it in small businesses, you know, you got people, you got problems, right? That's this famous saying, you got people, you got problems. And it's true, but if you don't have people, you're not going to make any type of larger living. You're going to make yourself a living, but you're not going to make a living that you can build a legacy off of. And, you know, if you hear things like, well, I guess I have to do it myself if it's going to be done right. Well, that's a red flag, because if it's got to be you, then you've now limited the size of your company. So.
Tell you a really quick story. We do a lot of charity work for veterans organizations. And because we do that, I get exposed to some pretty high-end military people, whether they're retired or still active. But one of these generals, we went out for lunch and they were giving us a Navy SEAL demonstration and we were eating. And I said, what do you look for a good quality for a leader as you're trying to bring up leaders through the military? And he said, that's a great question. And the one that he talks about at many speeches at colleges. And a good leader is the one that's going to train everybody behind him to be a strong team in case he goes down. That's what they look for. They don't look for the one guy that can do it all. They don't want that because now he has a very weak team behind him. What they're looking for is this guy that can lead a group and teach them and give them the responsibilities and just manage their responsibilities to get things done. That's how you grow a team. That's how you grow a business. And that's why they hired this guy to talk to business owners, to use the same philosophy. That's it. That's a quick story. That's a quick story.
There you go, Daniel. 45 minutes of a fire hose.
Yeah.
I know. I appreciate all that. Yeah. Any insight's good insight. So.
Yeah, Daniel, if you want to jump on a plane and come down here, we could spend a half a day or a day. But to see the in-house training program, you could rent a facility. It doesn't have to be in your building if you don't have space. Maybe you can rent it on a short or a 1-year lease and set up a real training facility and just hire one guy to be your trainer, or take one of your guys, maybe the guy that had a stroke. It might be a good role for him to train new people if he, if he's knowledgeable enough. But do you have your processes and procedures somewhere in a written document that you could pass on and use as a curriculum? If you don't, that's a good place to start. Start from a single door to a set of sliding. How do you install it? What do you do? How do you greet the customers? What Keith was talking about on soft skills, very important. because that customer is going to be your best salesman when you're done. So if you treat them right, they're going to tell their friends and neighbors, and they'll be selling doors for you. But if your guys go in there and they're just grumpy because it's a job that they have and they get the door done, that guy's not going to recommend you to the next one. So you've got to train these people to have the same enthusiasm you do. And sometimes that means paying them more so that they have that attitude, or giving them some perks or whatever it is. And we found out that the hard way too. We had a turnstile of burning through people until we found the secret sauce that increased the pay and keep them active and show them a path for the future. That's how you keep people and you stay profitable. It's like I said, every time you hire new people, you're losing money and you're starting all over again with the same headaches. But if you have written processes and procedures to follow that they can be accountable and held to and taught and coached, you're going to be better. You're going to be much better. And your business is more valuable if you ever get to the point where you want to sell it. Because somebody that wants to buy your business doesn't want to buy a job. They want to buy a company that can run without them being there. And the only way to have that is processes and procedures.
Yeah, so I read that in the email. So that's definitely one thing I want to get done is have every department, working on their procedures. And, I'm trying to task them out with writing down just everything they do on a daily basis so I can see their efficiencies and where they have room and how much time they should be doing it. And then just, so everybody knows what's needs to be done in this particular role, whether it's purchasing or invoicing or anything like that, so that's definitely something we need. So, there's lots of big things that actually need to be done and written down and documented. So yeah, the E-Myth has kind of got me on that path where I want to make it so that I am essentially not needed. I can just go in and have fun and do the fun stuff and just not really be needed. I don't want them to need me.
I wouldn't go that far. My job's not that fun.
It can be, Greg. It can be. Robert, keep an eye on the chat because Robert keeps putting in good information in there.
Question: how do you access this stuff after the video has gone down? Because I tried accessing some stuff last week after the video went down. I was trying to find it and I couldn't.
Message me if you need anything for now, but going forward, I'll just download the chat and have it active in the Facebook group. That way, anyone that wants to reference anything that was said can just go look at our doc that we put in there. That'll be an easier way going forward. But
awesome.
If you want to document anything digital, I would use Scribe Pro. That's one of the things I put in the chat. And then Loom is a great one. As each platform starts internalizing AI, other apps aren't needed as much to pair with your system. But Loom itself is a great screen recorder for, hey, record your screen real quick, show them what you're looking at, talk it through, and then send them that link. And then you can see that they viewed it. They've recently added some AI to their Pro feature that I really love because after I do a 3-minute video and I end it, they have it summarized, they have it titled for me, they have great captions, and they actually have action items underneath that. So for anything digital, I'd recommend using Loom because it will take over all of the stuff you would have done already, and then you just go edit it. It's just about handling a bulk load for you, having your machine knock down the wall and then you cleaning it up versus you knocking down the wall yourself. The other thing is Scribe. Scribe is a cool one. If you pay for the Pro option, as you're recording, you download the Pro thing, download their extension, you have your own apps. If you pay for the Pro version, now you just click record and you go and do what you do on your computer screen, click on your apps, go inside your Excel spreadsheet, and then click done. The Scribe tool will summarize all the apps you did, the steps you did, the buttons you typed, and it will show it in the 5 steps or 1 if you want to cram them all together, and it'll show it into a GIF. So everything you would have wanted a great documenter to come in to do for your company, these apps can help you get a huge leap forward and then bring in the great documenter to clean up the sawdust of what you're already doing. You're already doing all these things. Just document it with the right things and now have someone clean that up versus paying someone to come in and create something you already have that's working. And that's kind of how I like to use Scribe and Loom. And then the link to the spreadsheet I sent was hasn't been updated in probably like 8 months, but it's a sheet of a lot of apps and software for a lot of different categories. I would recommend follow up. You'll see is in a lot of those categories. of what you could use, but I also showed plenty of other alternatives. What do you need? A one-off, not everything follow-up does, or if you only need to solve the bottleneck in that one area, there might just be one app you need for scheduling, like House Call Pro or Service Titan, like $150 a month, 1 to 5 users. But the cool features that has for scheduling is what I adapted a lot of it to go to our follow-up system. But as a core awesome scheduler dispatch for mainly AC companies is what they were when I went to their conferences a while back. But they definitely went to that niche. But they had a very great model of importing your products, looking at it in a dispatch way. When you have your customers in there, clicking on the way and giving that heads up to them automatically in the post and the review after. I built all that into follow-up since then, but they were great. Watching every company is a great starting point. Every one of them has something to offer, just use case, right? Everyone, very hard to give you advice on what software you need when everyone had a lot of questions about what's your actual use case, because depending on which one it was, it would be one of that 100 list of softwares that might solve what you really need right now, not what someone else is doing. It's really like, and right now documenting use case, Loom, Scribe. Don't have dispatch, House Call Pro or follow-up itself.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Wow. That's a lot of information, man. I mean, how much are we charging for this?
$29.99. No.
Okay. Yeah.
$3.99.
This is free information for people in the industry. That's like, it just blows my mind how willing everybody is to just share so much stuff, you know, and really genuinely like inviting you over to their shop. Come over and see how we do it. And I know people do. A lot of people in this group have visited each other. It's awesome. I never say this, but I probably should from time to time. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and like it and subscribe and share it. Because you know, it's like I really don't care about getting more attention, but I think there are other people out there who could really benefit from this group too. So I don't know. We've got I think we got 4,000 people in the group now. So maybe we've already got everybody in the shower door industry. But I don't know. There might be somebody out there who hasn't heard about it yet. So tell all your friends and come back again next Wednesday and we'll talk some more about shower doors and stuff.